So basically, yesterday, the 5th of June 2016, I was watching a video on YouTube, and I came across Sonadi, King Sonadi, talking about his biography, and that sort of ignited my memory of realizing how King Sonadi had abused me in my pursuit of wanting to achieve my dream as a musician, and that was in 1993. Okay, so as I watch him speak about his biography, talk about the day he was born, and that sort of made me just remember, made me remember the past, and the first word that came into my mind, I said to Mr. Nelson, who was with me at that evening, I was watching the video on YouTube, I said, Nigerians kill their stars before they are born. Okay, so I am going to use this session to talk about my awful moments with Nigerian celebrities and dignitaries. Okay, so in the list of personnels, I am going to talk about, I will take them one after the other. So the first personnel I'm going to talk about, the first Nigerian celebrity I'm going to talk about is King Sonadi. Okay, I remembered that in 1994, I was eager to release an album. So I'd gone to see Sonadi in his office in Yaba. And Sonadi took my demo and told me that he was going to listen to the music, and he assured me that he was going to sponsor my album. The only reason why I approached Sonadi was that Sonadi had sponsored Mandators, Mandators in the I think that was sometime 93, maybe 92, 93, and there was this big propaganda on TV that Sonadi was investing on talents. So the fact that he had sponsored Mandator, the guy that sang Rat Race, and Mandator had gone to America, so I thought, okay, fine, let me approach King Sonadi and see if I would be one of the lucky artists he would sponsor in his label. So I went to Yaba, in his office in Yaba, and I saw him. He had received me well. He took my demo, but in the course of taking my demo, 2-3 months, I could not reach Sonadi, and then I decided to make further pursuit, and I was told that in another of Sonadi's office in Yaba, that Sonadi was going to be having a rehearsal section with his band boys, and I was told that if I could come there at about 9:30, I would be able to see Sonadi. And I came all the way from Okokomaiko in Ilogbo, where I was living then, because I used to live in Festac, then moved to Ojodu, then back to Ilogbo. So before I got to Sonadi's office in Yaba at the rehearsal section, I actually got there 5 minutes. Sonadi had gone into the rehearsal session. So they said he was already rehearsing. I could not see him, and the security told me that the only way I could see Sonadi was that I needed to wait for the rehearsal session to be over. And he told me that the rehearsal session would be over at about 5:30 in the morning. So at about 9:30 in 9:30 p.m. in the night, in 1994, I had waited for Sonadi with his security man. I slept at Sonadi's security units in his office in Yaba. I actually slept with the security guard. I was waiting for Sonadi 9:30 p.m. to 6 o'clock a.m. sleeping with the security guard. I have never been so beaten by mosquito. Mosquitoes I have never heard of ate my blood while waiting to see the man called King Sonadi. And as I was waiting at the unit where the Megad was, who was bodyguarding the complex, at about 6 o'clock I slept off. The Megad woke me up and said King Sonadi had finished his rehearsal that he's actually going to be coming out, so I should wait, I should be awake to be able to talk to him. So I woke up, and then Sonny Ade came out of the rehearsal room into the compound, waiting, his driver was waiting to pick him in the car for him to go to his house. And I walked up to Sonny Ade to introduce myself, realizing that Sonny Ade had actually spoken to me in the past. He's taking my demo. And when I walked to King Sonadi, King Sonadi looked at me, seeing a woman, 6 o'clock in the morning, knowing fully well that I slept 9:30 in the night, waiting for him till 6 o'clock in the morning. Do you know Sonadi? As I walked up to Sonadi, his drum, what do you call it? What do you call the people that
instrumentalists?
He's
drum band.
The drummers, the musicians that are in Sonny Ade's group, the ones that play the instruments for him, his backup band, the backup singers. Yeah. So as I walked up to Sonny Ade looked at me, and proudly he said to me, "I don't think it is me you're waiting for." Sonny Ade walked out from me, got into his vehicle that the driver was waiting for him, and the vehicle drove off. His band boys felt so embarrassed. They looked at me, they pitied, they almost cried for me. And Sonny Ade walked out on me and said, "I don't think it's me you're waiting for," and he walked away. And that was it. I picked up my pieces. I was more determined, but he disgraced me. And this happened in 1994. And in 1998, I have managed to release my album titled Evidence. And I went to Fame Award. I dressed in a very sexy attire, had this white attire that actually showed, the beauty of. I'm a very beautiful woman. So as I went to that Fame Award, a lot of artists wanted to snap photographs with me. I was actually the delight of the day because everybody just liked my attire. And then Sonny Ade walked up to me. I was so surprised that after 4 years, he remembered the awful attitude he exhibited. And he walked up to me and he shook my hand and he said to me, "I am sorry." And these tears came out of my eyes. He said to me, "I am sorry." So he remembered what he did to me. And I forgave him. And in that Fame Award, we actually took a photograph together. That is one of the awful moments I can remember, that somebody of King Sonny Ade had actually hurt me in the past, and he had apologized to me, and I've forgiven him. But the truth is that Nigerians kills their stars before they are born. That's one of the awful moment experience. Well, I'm going to be talking about the second awful moment, throughout my time in Nigeria. There's this other man called Mayor Akin Belu. Mayor Akin Belu actually owns Fame magazine. And I think I'm told right now that he owns Global Excellence. Lovely. Now, I remember going to Mayor Akin Belu, they were actually having this Fame award, whereby artists would be nominated to come and sing at the award. And I went to Mayor's office in one of the nights. I remember I was in Mayor's office at about 7 o'clock in the night. And I was trying to lobby Mayor Akin Belu to nominate me as one of the artists that will sing on the Fame Award. And as I sat in Mayor's office, lobbying Mayor to select me to be able to sing, at least get to show my talent, in front of me, Mayor Akin Belu was begging Ibinabo. There's this lady called Ibinabo, who at that time was dating one of these Lebanese multimillionaires, and I think she was smart enough to make some riches from the Lebanese multimillionaire. And Ibinabo, I think I'm aware that he used to be the P-man president before she got jailed for the death of one Yoruba man that she killed by mistakenly in a motor accident. And I was in Mayor's office, lobbying Mayor to allow me to sing my song at the Fame Award. And while talking to Mayor, I saw Mayor calling Ibinabo Ibinabo. Yeah, her name is Ibinabo. Yeah. And I could see Mayor begging Ibinabo to actually come at the Fame Award and be one of the celebrities to give awards to the nominees. It was so awful and very embarrassing. And I said to Mayor Akin, Belu, what are you doing? I am here begging you to allow me come to your Fame Award. I'm saying, and in front of me, you're begging Ibinabo to come and to come and give awards. Oh my God, Mayor, give me an opportunity now. Guess what Mayor said to me? Mayor said to me, nobody knows me. That Ibinabo is so popular. That unfortunately, when I become popular, he will give me an opportunity to equally come and perform in his Fame Award. It was so awful. That was another most embarrassing moment in my life. And I remember that the only time I heard of Mayor again was in 2008. Mayor had come to London, but this time around I was actually running shows. I was actually in charge of London and the big events, the big control of power and authority. And I remember that one guy who had equally known, his name is Babs. Babs is not a very tall guy, but Babs equally worked in Fame. Babs was a very good guy, and Babs told me that Mayor was in London, and I was eager to actually meet Mayor. So actually say to Mayor, now I'm in London, now I'm in charge, now I'm no more in Nigeria. Let's see, I can help you, Mayor, and fix you in London. But unfortunately, that day never came for Mayor to finally meet me. So this was an awful moment. Mayor never gave me an opportunity to present an award in Fame Award. He said because I was not known, that Ibinabo was known, and so Ibinabo, he would beg Ibinabo rather than beg me. And he said, when that day come, I become known, then he'll be able to beg me too, like Ibinabo. So that's another awful moment again. And then another awful moment again is with another politician who is late now. I wanted to shame him, but unfortunately he's late and he's dead. But I know that this will be a very embarrassing discussion to his children. Let his children know what their fathers are made of. What their father is made of. So another politician I'm talking about is Senator Chuku Mary J. Senator Chuku Mary J. Now I was 19 years. I was a very beautiful lady, but at 19 I was a virgin. I've never had sex before. So I'd met this Senator Chuku Mary J. Dia and Fatima Lane were sponsoring my music, and Dia wanted me to go to America. My mother had refused, and he had gone to threaten Dia, and Dia had invested 50,000 naira. Dia was a very wonderful man, Dia and Fatima Lane, and I heard that Dia was related to General Dia, but I think when General Dia was reigning in the era of Abacha, he had equally assisted his brother Dia and Fatima Lane. He's an estate agent. He had assisted Dia with a lot of money to set up this estate agency. So Dia was very good. He was very generous. And then I remember, I was in secondary school. I just wore uniform and I go to Lagos Island, going to all the banks looking for the MD. When I said, I want to see the MD, they look at me, I'm just 17. You want to see the MD? I say, yes, I'm a musician. I want the MD to sponsor me. So I just go to offices like that. So one day I just walked to one office. I don't even know what they do there. And I said, I'm a musician. I needed somebody to sponsor me. And I met this man called Dia. The very day I met Dia gave me 5,000 naira. And I took it back to my father. My father was like, you walked into somebody's office, they gave you 5,000 naira? I said, yeah. And Dia just liked me, and Dia had given me, since my parents didn't want me to go to America, so Dia asked me to look for the best producer in Nigeria, and I looked for Lemmy Jackson, and Dia had paid Lemmy Jackson 50,000 naira. And this was actually in 1987. That was a lot of money. So when Dia paid Lemmy Jackson 50,000 naira to produce an album for me, unfortunately I couldn't even sing. So the album came out awful, and Dia became angry that he has lost his 50,000 investment. So I went on the street of Festac looking for somebody else to invest in me, and I came across this rich man. He was one of the richest people in Festac. He had a house on his own, Senator Chuku Mary J. So when I had Senator Chuku Mary J has a very beautiful house, and he has this plant that has this wonderful perfume. So I went to Senator Chuku Mary J's house. I was actually 19, and I told him I was a musician. I went to his library. He listened to my music. He smiled at me. He has this funny glass that when he wears the glass, instead of looking at you through the glass, he's looking at you directly, and the glass is falling down. He's looking at you through his eyes. And Chuku Mary J said to me, he would sponsor me, you know. And I went to his library in his house in Festac about on 5 occasions. His children were very small then. You know, he has a second son. His name was Kwame, but I'm told Kwame died. You know, about 10-15 years ago, Kwame died. Second son of Chuku Mary J. And then Chuku Mary J was going to sponsor me, but instead he wanted to have sex with me. And I'm like, I've never had sex before, but I don't know how to say to this man that I've never had sex before, because I was looking so matured. But at 19 I was a virgin. And then Chuku Mary J took me to he said before he would have sex, he would give me money, he needs to have sex with me. So he took me, I was just 19 though, and I followed him he took me to a hotel in Agboju. You know, in Agboju, Agboju is Amuodofin. And then for the first time, I was sitting in his car. He went into one of the hotel. He paid money, and then I came down from the hotel, and he took me to this room. This room, for the first time, I knew what was called water bed. I've never seen a water bed before. So I sat on the bed. The bed is water, you know. So Chuku Mary J came on the bed, and he expects me to come on the bed. I'm like, what's happening? He looked at me. He was so embarrassed because he thought that I knew what the time is. I don't even know anything. So I followed him to the bedroom. I was there with him. He tried to touch me, and I tried to, like, you know the way babies, you get like, he felt so embarrassed. You know, he wore his glass, he wore his shirt bag. He said I should get out of the bed, and then he went back into his car and he took me to back to my father's house, and he dropped me, and he never gave me the money. He just abandoned he didn't sponsor me anymore. He said because I didn't let him make love to me, and that was how the dream died. Chuku Mary J never gave me any money anymore. Then, because I knew he liked me, there was another girl who was my age who I actually took to Chuku Mary J's house. Both of us actually visited him together. My sister later told me that Chuku Mary J is having sex with her, and Chuku Mary J gave her a lot of money. But Chuku Mary J never sponsored me. He killed my dream because I refused to make love to him. Unfortunately, it wasn't even my fault because I was a virgin at 19. So I did not just know what the time is. So that is how Nigerian kills their stars before their stars are born. Yeah, and that's one. Then another characters I'm going to be talking about is Kenny. Another awful moment is with Kenny Ogungbe and Dayo D1. This Kenny Ogungbe and Dayo D1 are two Nigerians who I would say that they actually didn't succeed in America. Their dreams in America didn't come true, so I think they were failures in America. But because Kenny Ogungbe's sister had married Raymond Tokwesi, and that led Kenny Ogungbe to bring his American talent to Nigeria to come and assist Raymond Tokwesi to run Raymond Tokwesi radio station and television. Okay, and then I was a very good musician. And one of the people that actually killed my career, it's a very awful moment, is Kenny Ogungbe and Dayo D1. Kenny was in charge of AIT, and Dayo D1 was his assistant. Now, Kenny tried to flirt with me. Kenny Ogungbe wanted to have sex with me, so I didn't agree. And because I didn't agree, Kenny pushed me to Dayo D1. I and Dayo D1 actually slept together in a hotel, but I never allowed Dayo D1 to make love to me. That was how the pressure and tension was much. We slept together in a room, but the guy just wanted to have sex with me. I didn't want to agree for him to have sex with me. So because I wouldn't make love with Kenny, Kenny pushed me to his friend Dayo, and I and Dayo slept together in a room, and I never slept with Dayo. And because I wouldn't sleep to two of them, they never played my music on AIT. Kenny and Dayo actually killed my musical career. They never let me excel in AIT. The anger was so much, I personally took this matter to Raymond Tokwesi, the owner of AIT and Red Power. And I reported Kenny Ogungbe to Raymond Tokwesi. I said to Raymond Tokwesi, Kenny have just set up a record label. He only plays the music of his artists that he will benefit from. Other musicians like us, he will not play their music. And Tokwesi was a very wonderful man who actually liked me so much. Dr. Kwesi saw my future. Dr. Kwesi saw my dream. Dr. Kwesi allowed me free slots on AIT. Everything that would make things go well in AIT, Dr. Kwesi gave me all the support. But Ken Ogungbe blocked everything. I could not excel. My music career actually failed because of Ken Ogungbe. Just because I wouldn't have sex with him. I think he has forgotten today. But because today's topic is teaching the Nigerian men to know that you don't kill your stars before they are born. And you don't exploit women because you want something. Life should be about everybody that's entitled to it, you should get it. Not because you're having sex with one person, or because you're not ready, one person is refusing to give you sex, that you deny them the opportunity to be what they want to be. Ken Ogungbe killed my career. Dayo D1, you know, he's just an idiot because he equally did not know what he wanted for himself. And these people have their wives. So I went and I reported Ken Ogungbe to Raymond Dokwesi that Kenny is not allowing my music to be played in AIT. After reporting Ken Ogungbe to Raymond Dokwesi, all of a sudden I heard that Ken Ogungbe has resigned from AIT. Then I said to one of my associates that I'm thinking that is because I reported Ken Ogungbe to Raymond Dokwesi is why Kenny resigns. I had assumed because I reported Ken Ogungbe to Raymond Dokwesi, within 7 days I heard Ken Ogungbe has resigned. So I left it like that. Then in one of the days, less than 3 weeks Ken Ogungbe resigned, I went to AIT and I went to Raymond Dokwesi's office. When I got to Raymond Dokwesi's office, he was having a board meeting with about 10 people in a board meeting. And as I walked into Raymond Dokwesi's office, because Raymond Dokwesi that owns AIT is my very good friend, Raymond Dokwesi just pointed at me and reporting, telling the 10 people in the board meeting that, can you see, this is the woman that said Ken Ogungbe does not play other people's music, and because I tried to speak to him, to caution him, Ken Ogungbe resigns. That was when I knew that because I've reported Ken Ogungbe to Dokwesi was actually what made Ken Ogungbe to quit his job as managing director of AIT. So that was another awful moment I can remember. Okay. Then another awful moment I can equally remember is another billionaire called Everest Ufu. Everest Ufu is a multi-billionaire. He's a short man. I don't know where he is now. He used to live in Festac, and then he had made money through this 419. And then I used to be a very vibrant personality that every rich man in Nigeria wants to know them. I'm just eager to want to meet with them, to ask them, how did you make it? What were your childhood? How did you go? So when you tell me somebody is rich, I go after them to find them, to get to talk to them, for them to tell me how they made it, how life, had propelled them to this stardom they are. So I met this funny figure called Everest Ufu. He's an Igbo man. So I got to Everest Ufu's office in Surulere, and when I got to his office, I'd met with him and another man in his office, and they tried to flirt with me. They tried to touch me in an undecent way. Because I was still a virgin too. So I was like, when you are naive, there's a way you act like a baby. So as I was acting like that, Everest Ufu became furious. He said to me, look at you. You come to my office, we are trying to touch you. You are acting like you're too special. Let me tell you, Bianca Onu, Nigerian most beautiful girl in Nigeria, or is it Miss Nigeria? I don't even know what beauty pageant she had won. But Bianca Onu used to be Ojuku's wife. She's Ojuku's wife before Ojuku died. And he said to me, Bianca Onu and Regina Askia, they came to my office. They post nude. I can show you their naked nude pictures. I paid them 50,000 naira for posing naked for me. So if Miss Nigeria or most beautiful girl in Nigeria can come to my office and pose naked for 50,000 naira, who are you to come and be stopping us from touching you? That was another awful moment. I could not believe that Miss Nigeria or Bianca Onu and Regina Askia could go to Everest Ufu's office and be naked because of 50,000 naira. I mean that those guys are cheap, man. They're cheap, so we should know now. So that was another awful moment. Yeah.
50,000 tissue.
Yeah. Very funny. Then another awful moment I equally remember is a stupid girl called Muma G. Muma G is just an idiot. If I'm angry with anybody, for me as a royal mother, I really never get annoyed. But Muma G is another very dirty girl that I feel cheated. And I remember going to a studio in Ikeja, and I actually came to the studio to look for what do you call him? His name is Nelson Brown. So Nelson Brown was a producer. So when I went to the studio in the night to look for Nelson Brown, I came with my boys, and as I went into the studio to talk to Nelson Brown, there's a lady called Muma G.
Is that a nickname or?
I think her nickname is Muma G.
Okay.
Muma G. Not Patience. No, okay. She's Muma G. She's a musician.
Okay.
She's Gift Nwaneme. She's Muma G.
Okay.
I heard that she's married to one, guy, Prince Eke. I'm quite sure Prince Eke knows her background. She won't even marry that dirty girl. So Muma G, as I walked into the studio, Muma G, came to me and said, "Oh, are you lazy hands? I've heard so much about you in Port Harcourt. I'm like, okay, because I'm a very generous person. And I said to Muma G, "What are you doing here at this time? It's 11 o'clock in the night." Muma G said, "Oh, she just came from Port Harcourt. She has no money. She's actually going to sleep in the studio." I'm like, sleep in the studio with these boys? No, I can come to my house and sleep. Why can you be sleeping in the studio with these 7 men in the studio because you are producing an album? So I took Muma G to my house, gave her a room, gave her a bed, and she actually thought she was a little girl, because if she was going to be sleeping in the studio as a rat because she has no money to even load the proper hotel. So I actually invited her to my house in Jokwemu, the 3-bedroom apartment, and then she had come there like a joke. She had stayed with me for 2 weeks. She had gone back to Port Harcourt. She had stayed with me for 3 months. So she actually lived in my house for 3 months. But in the period of living with me, I noticed that Muma G goes to all these restaurants to play music. And then when she goes and play music, I'm more concerned, like how much do they pay her? I want to be sure they are not cheating her. But while she was living with me, she has watched me executed very, very marvelous project with Lagos State government. So within the 3 months of living with me, she learned a lot of things from me. Because Muma G was just a very cheap girl. Everybody fucks Muma G, and she's a prostitute. That's the way I can define her. Even when you go to listen to some of her music, she talked about my body, my this, my that, skilashi. I get my skilashi. That just says Muma G is a prostitute. That's the life she lived. Okay, and then Muma G had lived with me. She learned so many things from me. And then at a point, I ended the relationship because my son told me there was a day we were going to cook in the house. We didn't have money. So, and Muma G I've been feeding Muma G for 3 months. So I said we're looking for money to actually cook. We need to buy some meat. I think in a rice we're going to cook. I think that Muma G has 5,000 naira. She was hiding somewhere. So I think my 4-year-old son caught her hiding the money. And my 4-year-old son had reported Muma G to me. "Mommy, I saw Muma G counting a lot of money." So I was so very, very embarrassed. That you mean you had money, you wanted to cook rice, you could not bring money for us to buy meat? So I was just angry, so I ended the relationship. But when I met Muma G does not even know anywhere about media or the journalists. So I actually took Muma G to the journalists, who had formed a team with. For the first time, Muma G became known through me. I had a concert at La Campagne Tropicana. Muma G duoed with me on the stage. So I was actually the one that civilized Muma G and took her into the industry. After teaching Muma G so much, Muma G, I think after I ended the relationship because she was so greedy and selfish, and I said, "You know what? I don't associate people like yourself." So I ended the relationship. After Muma G left me, she has stolen so much ideas in terms of how I execute my governmental projects. And then Muma G, now I think in her going back to Port Harcourt, she has stupidly met a rich guy who works in the oil industry. And at the time she now met this rich man, who works in, I think whether Chevron or Shell, she was not smart enough not to fuck cheap. So I think that she met this Mugu guy, that because she's learned so many tricks from me, how to work with government, how to make money, you know. So the little tricks she has learned in staying in my house for 3 months, by the time she got this Mugu, who could have fucked her for free and giving her 100 naira, she was able to fuck this Mugu, and I think she got more than 40 to 50,000 pounds from this white guy who had sex with her and turned her into a rich girl. That was how Naji made her money. And when she now made her money, you have to always give respect to who respect is due. When Muma G comes to Lagos, she goes to the same journalist I took her to. When they ask her, where's Professor, where is Lizzie Haynes? She will say, forget that one. Forget that one. But the fame and fortune she achieved today that made some idiot Prince AK to go and marry her is because she made it through me. The only reason why I'm rebuking her is because she fought to become what she is. And I knew that there was never a time she was going to be worth my shoe. Even when she now finally made money through this white guy, she had visited me one day, telling me, oh, my driver is in the car. Can I take you to, let's go to one of the 9 clubs. For me, how dare I enter your car? Who are you? Whatever money you have, you are worth not my shoe. I didn't follow her that day, and I never forgave her. Rather than appreciating everything I did to make her what she is, today, in Nigeria, she thought she could compete with me. So she equally was another awful moment I had with Muma G. Muma G is the only person in my book I would never really forgive. Because that is how much I felt so bad. And that's that. And then the other awful moment I must have equally had are with 2 characters called Onyeka Owenu and Alexia and Bokwe. Alexia and Bokwe is dead now. Onyeka Owenu is still there. She's a mama. You know, I remember Onyeka in the era of Abacha. Because when Abacha was alive, Alexia and Bokwe and Onyeka, they were always having this project that the army boys, the army generals were sponsoring. But Onyeka never liked me because I was a very beautiful girl. She never, all those musical contracts that they were giving each other. Alexia never gave me any contracts. When they were always using Zakiaze. You know, every time they get show from Abuja, every time they get show from Aso Rock, because Zakiaze is Hausa, so they will first of all shortlist him and give him a show. They pay them with like 1 million naira, and then all the musicians will go to P-Man. They are lobbying for music show, and that would come. Only Alexia will not give me show because they think that if they give me show, they make me rich. So they never give me a show. Onyeka equally knew I was doing very well, but Onyeka never liked me. So these were just the 2, women who saw the future and never equally gave me an opportunity. So that usually often meant I can actually remember. So and then you said what?
So they killed
so these are people that they killed the stars before they are born. Because of one thing or the other. Then I remembered another person. I would not really say it's an awful moment. It's both good and bad. His name is Felix Duke. I remember Felix Duke, the guy that sang Walla 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 Re, Walla 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 Re. Sang the Lord a joyful song. The melodies are nice and lovely. Very fun. Okay, Felix Duke. I really don't know. I think the moments with Felix Duke, I'll call it awful moments, good and bad. Felix Duke was I was living in a 3-bedroom apartment. Felix Duke was living with Daniel Wilson, and Daniel Wilson could not pay his rent. I think so. The landlord has evicted them through the courts. So Felix Duke had no place to go. So Felix Duke told me that if I should let him stay in my house. So I gave Felix Duke one of my room for Felix Duke to stay. So Felix Duke came and brought his 2 brothers and his girlfriend. So 3 of them had moved into this room. So it was like a family of 4. Now Felix Duke took over my house from me. It's so funny. In the parlor, his brother wakes up in the morning, comes with his slippers in the parlor watching TV. I can't actually remember what actually has transpired. But Felix Duke family took over the house from me. I could not control Felix Duke anymore. He really terrified me. He threatened me, and one of the things that he told me that threatened me so much, he said one day, I think his little brother had misbehaved, and I said to Duke, before Duke actually came into the house, I actually made Duke to sign an agreement that he was going to be there, and when I want him to leave, he was going to leave. But rather, Felix Duke took over the house. I could not evict him. And then his younger brother had did something bad to me. And when Felix Duke came in, Felix Duke says to me that he will beat me and break my bones. That he will break my bones. You are in my house, you will break my bones. And when Felix said he will break my bones, he had taken over this house. The only way I could get Felix out of that house was to actually evict myself from the house. And I told Felix that the landlord is coming to take his key. That was how Felix finally packed his things out of that house. But upon the ending of the bad encounter with Felix Duke, he was a very good guy. Nobody actually knew it ended badly with us. If you ask Felix Duke, what of Lizzie Haynes? He will say, oh, she's fine. He's opposite to Muma G, the crazy girl. Oh, what of Lizzie Haynes? Oh, forget that one. That is why today I had to expose Muma G. Felix Duke, even there's an awful moment, he was a very good guy. He still has my back. If he asks me for money today, support and sponsor, I'll give him. He was a good guy, though the demon possessed him. How he was going to take over my house and break my bone. It's another thing, you know. But yeah. So that is it. And then I think that's all I can remember for the time being. In the first series of awful moments with Nigerian celebrities and dignitaries.
What are Blackface and Two-Face?
Well, Blackface and Two-Face. I think Blackface liked me. You know, he loved me, but he was too young. You know, and then I didn't have any bad moments with Blackface and Two-Face. They had come to the Campaign Tropicana to perform. I was in the show lights, and they were excited to know me. They were just at their prime, trying to come up, and that's it. You know, and yes, and that's all I can remember. The only thing I remembered was that I remember in 1987 I'd gone to NTA wanting to be an artist. You know, in 1987 I've acted in one of the movies with Abbas. You know, the Abbas guy. Abbas. They call him Abbas. In the Abbas, he has a very big nose. You know, Abbas is one of the men that never really went. He's not old. You know, and I remember going to NTA to be selected for an audition. And when I got to NTA, I was given a cast. I think one of the casts I was given was that the guy, the producer, I think it's Peter Igo. I can't really remember Peter Igo and Peter Igo or Lai Mohammed. I can't remember. You know, I can't remember those two figures. But in 1987, Lizzie Benson was reigning. I've actually acted a program, an episode with Liz Benson. You know, I've forgotten that. I used to know that movie, maybe in the second series of moments with Nigerian celebrities, and I'll be able to remember that episode of that movie. So I acted with Liz Benson, but when I was being casted for that, I used to be an artist. Kate Henshaw is my very good friend. Fred Amata was my very good friend. Yeah, so I had a lot of very good friends, but I never liked the artistic work because I was a musician. So music was easier for me. I had my time, could do my thing. But in the artistic world, in the artist world, as an actress, you could find that the whole day you're on set, recording, and nothing will be achieved. You have to. So being an artist, the whole day is wasted. You are just on set. You never really had your time. Okay, and then I remember going to NTA. That was in 1987. All those NTA producers, yeah. So in them trying to cast me for an audition for one of the episodes, Nigerian episode, I remember being asked to come to a room, and one of the producers of that particular episode of that drama or series, I don't know what they call it, he gave me a script, and he said to me that I should act like my husband is going to abandon me and I don't want him to go. I need to show him love and appease him, you know. So as I came on set, so I acted it. The guy said it wasn't good enough. I needed to actually kiss him, hug him, and needed actually to make it a reality. But because I could not make it a reality and act it like a real kissing, smooshing and everything, they didn't cast me for the program. And in 1987, to actually be given a movie as an actress, those bastard producers want to make love with you. So all the girls in the Nollywood industry, definitely, it was not just easy to be. Any actress in Nollywood definitely would have been slept with. Because the Nigerian producers, they sleep with the artists and actors and actresses. The ladies want to sleep with the actors before they give them, you know, a role. And the guys want to sleep with the ladies. So the ladies, if it's a lady producer, they want to sleep with the actor to give him a lead role. If it is the guys, they want to sleep with the actress. So Nigerians actually kill their stars before they are born. The reason why I'm saying this today, I'm a genius in the mix. I'm not saying this thing today because I'm happy to talk about these people. I just want to shame them so that people can see that there's really nothing so much interesting in them. They're just humans. You know, even now when they claim to have charities, they're not good people. You know, only if they can start changing their mindset to actually know that you don't kill your stars before they are born. To give somebody an opportunity is not about what you can get. What can you give to them? I grew up remembering the proverb my father told me. If you want to catch a fowl, you give the fowl corn. The fowl eats the corn to your leg until you grab the fowl on the leg. In my days in growing up in Nigeria, I actually wanted someone that would love me for who I am, spoil me so much, and give me so much. But unfortunately, every person I met wanted to have sex with me. It is sad. I never made it in Nigeria because I was never given an opportunity. I knew from onset at the age of 21 I was going to be a very great woman. And I said in my mind, if I was to have sex because I wanted them to give me money, when I become a great person, these are the same people that will say, don't mind her, I slept with her, she's cheap. So I held on to myself, believing what the dream I saw at the age of 20. I'm 43 years now, but at the age of 21, which is 22 years ago, I knew I was going to be a great person. And because of that, I never spoiled myself. The only person I'm going to give an award is Chief Mr. Ernest Obi Jackson. Ernest Obi Jackson. Ernest was a good friend of mine. He was equally my boyfriend. That was the only boyfriend I had. You know, when I was 21, he spoiled me with so much money. He spoiled me with so much gift. He's equally an idiot. He's always cursing me. Oh, you dress like a baby. You know, you need to dress like an adult. You know, he takes me to all these expensive shops. He buys me very expensive clothes. When I wear them, he abuses me that I'm not dressing very well. So that's the only person that I will take that he took the crown. He never asked me for sex. He just loved me and saw me developed. But at the end of the day, I equally dumped him because I didn't want his money, because he equally did not understand me too. So that is my story for today. Myself and my people of Nigeria. I just want them to get to know me, that I'm actually a human being. Even though I'm a special breed, I'm this mighty woman. Once upon a time, I was just a human like any other human. Before I found myself into divinity, because I'm the mother of scientism religion. So I'm not who I was until I got transformed in 2004. But before 2004, this was just me being a normal woman and a normal girl. Yes. Thank you very much. Nelson, what do you have to say about all this?
Yeah, actually, I applaud you in all this land of difficulties, whereby all the intensities we have been through. You know, being Nigeria as a country that we know that for you to, you know, grab any opportunity, they must have exhaust your right. You understand me? Slept with you, you know, also trying to, you know, abuse you as someone that's trying to exploit the momentum and also the vibrancy of life. You understand me? Because I see it as, you know, Nigeria, how it takes. That is why for people to make it in Nigeria is very hard. Is who knows who. If you are not in their clique, you cannot make it. That is why you see government today, they are oppressing the people, because if you are not in their class, you cannot make it. I really applaud you, and I thank you for being an achiever today, and you have made it. I really thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Martin, let's hear you.
Yeah, like it's a remarkable story, and I think it's one that maybe ladies of this generation need to listen to, because it's even though it happened, because the first story you spoke about Sonadi was in 1994, and even though it's 12 years from now, it's still the same pressure being faced by
22 years, 1994.
Oh yeah, sorry, 22 years. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's still the same pressure being faced by ladies of this generation. So I believe it's something they have to listen to understand that you don't have to make yourself cheap to achieve your dreams. That even in spite of the pressures and the heels of the society, you can still
push it.
You can still stand up and be counted. You don't have to succumb to the pressures, because at the end of the day, if you become that thing for this ambition to be, it will still be used against you, and it can be said that, oh, they made you what you are. But if you stand against those pressures and against all odds, you become what you want to be, then you can always raise your shoulders high and be a good role model to those who are coming behind. So I believe it's a story for the ages, and it's a story that will encourage and motivate ladies that no matter what, even ladies and men, that no matter the pressure, no matter the circumstances, you can still be who you want to be. And despite the fact that you went through so much of these temptations, you're still able to become something, and you're still
stand up today,
able to stand up, be a law reformist, be a mother of a religion, So it's a good one, and it's one that is remarkable. So I'll pass on to Mr. Jibola too.
Wow. I'm so delighted in hear this full moment from you, Royal Mother. To be honest, it's a great achievement. To be honest with you, it's not an easy task to pass through, and I'm going to to implore all this young generation now that is coming on board now to listen to this and grab it very well, because it's a word of advice for them to be able to achieve in life. You see, it is not a matter of what you are going to get in life, but how are you going to acquire those things. If you acquire those things in the wrong way, trust me, you're going to lose it at the end of the day. Because now, this is a great achievement that you can come out boldly and say it to the people publicly and say, no, I have never. Hardly people make it in Nigeria nowadays and stand out and say, no, I have never slept with any man and I get it and I got it right. Hardly. So, you are a great person and you are a hero, and I pray for God protection and more wisdom again to be giving all this advice that can change the life of the young generation that is coming. I really appreciate.
Thank you.
I know we have a lot of I know we have a lot to give to young people, but I just think this is just a serious one. I know more is becoming. Thank you so much.
So we end this session for today. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nelson. Thank you, Clinton Nelson, Clinton Okechukwu Nelson. Thank you, Martins Adenuga. Yes. Adenuga. And thank you for Musdin Ajibola for listening to this wonderful moment of my awful session with Nigerian celebrities and dignitaries. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.